All right, let's talk about something we all know way too well, that mental hamster wheel. You know, when your brain just gets stuck replaying some negative thought or scenario over and over and over again, and you just can't seem to get off?
I mean, you've been there, right? It could be an argument you had with someone, a silly mistake you made at work, or maybe you're just worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet. Your brain just latches onto it, and suddenly it's on a constant loop. It is absolutely exhausting. It feels like you're stuck in this mental traffic jam, and every single lane is blocked. Well, it turns out that whole mental replay thing, it's not just some weird quirk. It's actually a real psychological process. And giving it a name, that's the first step to really understanding it, and more importantly, getting a handle on it. And that name is rumination. But I want you to really focus on the last part of that definition, while doing nothing to soothe yourself or find a solution. See, that's the part that really matters. Rumination isn't just you thinking about a problem. It's being completely trapped by it without actually moving an inch toward a solution. And this is the key difference, isn't it? When you're actively problem solving, you're looking for an exit ramp. You're being constructive. But rumination, well, that's like spinning your wheels in the mud. You're burning a ton of mental energy. You feel like you're doing something, but you're only digging yourself deeper into that negative muck. So that leads to the big question, right? If this is so unhelpful, why on earth do our brains do it? And why do some of us get snagged in these loops way more easily than others? Well, it turns out the answer might have to do with a pretty common personality trait. And that trait is called neuroticism. Now, I know that sounds like a big, scary clinical word, but let's just reframe it. Think of it as having a heightened emotional sensitivity. If you're someone who just feels things really deeply, the good and the bad, you might just be a little more wired for these rumination loops. It's like your emotional volume knob is turned up to 11. And yeah, that can be a superpower, but it can also really fuel that replay machine. But here's the good news, and this is so important. This is not a life sentence. It's not a fixed part of who you are. It's a cycle. And once you understand how the cycle works, well, that's when you find the off switch. That's when you go from being a prisoner of the loop to the person who can actually break it. So let's break down that cycle. Here's how it goes. First, something negative happens, big or small. Then your mind hits replay. And because of that emotional sensitivity we just talked about, every time it replays, the feeling gets a little bit stronger, a little more intense. And then finally, that intense feeling makes you want to replay it even more, to try and figure it out. And bam, the loop gets stronger. It literally feeds on itself. Okay, let's be crystal clear about something. The goal here is never to stop feeling. It's not about becoming a robot or just bottling up your emotions. Your feelings are real, they're valid, and they're trying to tell you something. The problem isn't the feeling. The problem is the unproductive looping that keeps you stuck. We want to interrupt the process, not shut down the emotion. So how do we actually do it? How do we stop that loop dead in its tracks? Well, the big idea is surprisingly simple. You have to take all that stuff that's happening inside your head and get it outside of your head. The key is to externalize the mental loop. And here it is, the single most powerful, practical thing you can do. It's so simple, you might almost brush it off, but don't. It's write things down instead of sending them. Just think about it. That furious text you're writing in your head, that long defensive email you're planning to send, don't send it. Just write it. Get it all out, for your eyes only. So why does this work so well? Well, for starters, it physically gets the loop out of you. Those thoughts aren't just this weird, formless anxiety bouncing around in your skull anymore. Now they're actual words on a page. And that immediately creates distance. It gives you perspective. You're no longer in the thought. You're looking at it. And that simple action breaks the whole cycle of passive replay and turns it into a real, active, grounding exercise. And in the end, that's what this is all about. Whether you're grabbing a pen and paper or just opening a blank document on your computer, you are physically, intentionally hitting the stop button on that mental replay. You're telling your brain, nope, I'm in charge here, not the loop. You are taking back control. So, the next time you feel that mental wheel start to spin, the next time you feel yourself getting pulled into that vortex, you've got a tool. You have something in your back pocket that you can actually use to hit pause. So the only question left is, what mental loop are you going to break first?